Playing equals learning, and that's what I'm going to do for this image. Generated with AI, and I use Leonardo AI. What I do now is look at the image and think, am I happy with the composition? Very much like photography. But what I don't like in the image is I feel it needs a little bit more negative space, both on the left and right-hand side, and even at the bottom of the image. So before I start diving in and playing, I'll increase the negative space or extend the canvas. And what Photoshop does now makes it so much easier than when I first started creating composites. What I'm going to do is click on the crop tool, and then I'll get my contextual toolbar, and I have that positioned there all the time. If you don't see your contextual toolbar, you can go to Window, and then you'll see that contextual taskbar is ticked. But I've actually positioned it at the top of my workspace. By default, it will go down at the bottom, but I find that it's just in my line of sight, and I can use this when I need to. So let's come in and extend the canvas. I'll move that over here on the right-hand side, over to the left. And I don't make it too wide, I just give it a little bit more of a depth both on the sides. I'll come down here and also do the bottom of the image. What I want to do is Generative expand. I'm going to say generate. I'm going to let Photoshop do the work for me. I'll click on generate and I'll let it do its thing, as I say, and we'll see what options it comes up with. You'll find in the variations it comes in 3. By experimenting, you'll find one you like, one you don't like. You may have to try again. It's all about playing. And just like that, the magic of Photoshop has given me a few interesting options to work with. I love how Generative Expand can shift the whole feel of an image with just a few clicks. Now I can start building and see where I want to go from. Let's have a look at what the options that Photoshop has given me. This is the first one when I did the first generative, and I thought, am I happy with it? Let's see what I've got. And I'm just going to click on the different thumbnails. I definitely don't like that one. I'll click on here. Definitely a big no from me. I look at that and I think it's got some balance in the tones, and I'll explain what I mean by that later. That one, it's got too much of an edging on the top and it's got those dark spots. Might be a little bit too hard to fix, and I'll come in there and I'll go, no. I'm going to go back to that one. And the reason that I've actually chosen that is because there's balance here over on the left-hand side. There's also some tonal matching up on the top left-hand side. I've got a few distractors in there, but that's fine. I can actually work with this now. So what I'm going to do is go, that's the one I'm going to play with. I'll click on the properties and I'll close that down. Now what I want to do is a stamp visible layer. One, I want to get rid of a few distractors and then try some other techniques. I'll use the stamp visible layer, Control-Alt-Shift-D, and I have them in action, so I'm going to click on my action and actually get that stamp visible layer. I'll get my removal tool and I'll come over here and I'll choose the ones or the distractors that I want to get rid of. So I'm going to come in here, brush over that middle one. Now I look down at the bottom and I'm very particular with border control. What do I mean by that? If I look around the borders or the edges of the image, I can see down here that these pads or lily pads sit just on that border, and I don't like that, so I'm going to get rid of them. I'll come over here and I'll do the same on that one on the right, and I can see a little bit of a distractor on the border there. Now this is me just being particular. For some people they may go, that doesn't worry me, but I want to get rid of those distractors, particularly on the border. I learnt that a long time ago and it still sticks with me. I'll click on the tick and we'll get rid of those distractions. By looking around your image and looking at the border control, it can really highlight some areas, particularly when you're doing AI imagery or composites. And even with photography, I used border control when I was processing my landscape photos. I've got my stamp visible layer, I've got rid of the distractions, and I'm now ready to play. What can I do with this? Because I'm in a playful mood, I decided to add this little munchkin, again created with Leonardo AI. And I just love the quirkiness of this little guy. It looks very vintage for me. What I want to do is put him into the boat. And I'm going to do what I call a quick selection, or down and dirty, and get him removed from the background. And this is where I use the contextual taskbar again. I'm going to make sure I click on that image and I want to get that toolbar up. There it is, ready for me to go. I'm going to remove background. I'll let Photoshop do its work, or what I call the Photoshop magic. This was certainly a lot harder back in the day when I first started composites. There he is, absolutely fantastic. I don't like the fish, so that's not a problem. I'll come over to the layer stack and you can see that there now is a layer mask. I'm going to make sure I've got my brush. I'm going to make sure the foreground is black. I'm going to come up to the opacity and check that, and I want it to be at 100%. So I'm going to mask away or brush away those fish. Goodbye fish, as I say. It's about having fun and just enjoy being creative. What I want to do now is to put him into the boat, size him, and let's see what else I can work with the little munchkin. I'll click onto the image in the layer stack, not the mask. What I'm going to do is get my transform tool, Control T, and I'm just going to position him and size him where I want. I'll grab a corner handle, just bring him down a little bit there. Make sure I keep the proportions there. Now this is where I'll play a little bit and I think, oh, where do I want him to be? Now if I put him at the front of the boat, he's too close to those flowers. If I put him into the middle of the boat, it gives what I call a balanced composition, a framing. So he's positioned in the middle of those two floral arrangements on the left and right hand side. I'll put him there and I'll click on the tick. Now what I'm going to do is come back and click on the mask, make sure I've got my brush and the foreground's black, and I'm going to mask away his lovely red shoes. Now I'm going to zoom up and have a look. The brush that I'm using is a soft round brush which is feathered, and I don't want that feathered. So what I'm going to do is undo that, and I'm going to go over to my brush panel and I'm going to choose a square or either an edge masking brush that's available in my composite brush collection on the website, and I'll put a link in the description for you. The reason that I like choosing these brushes, particularly for composite work, I sometimes need a hard edge, not a feathered edge. And so I'm just going to mask or brush away those shoes. I'll make that brush a little bit bigger and we'll just get a nice hard edge on those trousers that are coming up to the boat. And we'll just go over there, get rid of them. I'll zoom up again. Now I might have to make that brush a little bit smaller and come in and just get that edging right. And that's why I like to use a hard edge brush. I've missed a little bit here, so what I'm going to do is come back, change the foreground to white, and then I'm going to brush back in that part of that trouser. And I can see now there's a little bit extra that I brushed in, so I'll just go back, change it to black, and then I'll get rid of that. And then what I'll do is come back to my brush panel, go into that composite brush collection and click on soft round. One of my favourite tools or go-to techniques is using the neural filter harmonization, and I'll use this technique on every element that I put into my composites. Back in the day, trying to blend or colour match the elements that were going into your background, I had to use a number of techniques to get the colour matching right. But what I'm going to do is use this technique. I'll go up to Filter, and then I'll choose Neural Filter. And then what I'm going to do is select Harmonization. I'll come over here, I'll slide that or click on that slider button. I'll go up to Select a Layer, and I always select the top layer. Even though you may look at the picture and you think that's not actually what I'm working on, this is a personal preference for me. So I'll look at output and I want to have Smart Filter. If you click on that down arrow, you will get choices, New Layer or Smart Filter. And I'll click Smart Filter and click OK. And let's see what Photoshop does with the little munchkin. It does take a while depending on the image that you're working with. And now if I look at him, he's actually matching the tones and the colour of the background. Let's have a look at the layer stack. There's the little munchkin, the mask, and you can see now a smart filter is attached and telling you that it's a neural filter. If I turn that filter off, you can see it goes back to its original colours. Now for me, that gives me the base to work on. Sometimes it can nail it straight away. Other times you've got to play with it. Now, if I feel now it's a little bit too pale, I'll come in here, I'll get the hue and saturation, I'll make it a clipping mask, and I might just bump up that saturation a little bit, just to give it a little bit of depth. I might even drop the lightness down. And, I think he looks not too bad. And there is a few tools that I've just actually used. One of the things that I do like to point out is that the contextual toolbar does change when you're working on different layers. And I've only just scratched the surface with a couple of the techniques using this fantastic toolbar, which speeds up your workflow. There it is, my play image. If I wanted to do some colour grading, if I wanted to, add a texture, even add a bird on the front of the rowboat, that gives me an idea. I'm playing, so let's go and get my favourite crow and put him on the front of the boat. What I'm going to do is make sure I click onto that top layer, the hue and saturation, and then what I'm going to do is find the crow and add him in there. Guess what? I've found the crow. He's a little bit big and he's facing the wrong way and he's not matching in with the background and the colours of the munchkin. So what I'm going to do first up is size the crow, flip him so he's going to face the other way, and then I'll work on getting him to match in with the tones of the background. What I'll do is get my transform tool, Control T or Command T, and what I'll do is then size him, and we'll just get that transform tool. I'll grab the corner, I'll just bring it down a little bit because I don't want him too big, and I'm just going to position him there roughly, right mouse click, then what I'm going to do is flip horizontal, and I'll just get him sitting right on that edge. Now, I feel he's a little bit big there because this is where I look and I go, the boy is the hero or the main subject in the boat, and the crow is just what I call a support act, a little extra. And I'll just bring him down a little bit there, get him to sit there, and I think, yes, that works. I'll click on the tick. But what I find is he's a bit too dark, so I'll go up to Filter, and then I'll go Neural Filter. I'll click on Harmonization. I'll click on the Select Layer. Now, I'll do the top layer, but I can play with some of the controls here in the sliders. I could make it a little bit more brighter on the crow if I wanted to, and I'm just looking at the crow on the right-hand side, and that's why I position this panel over here on the left. It's a little bit too bright for me, so I might click Get It Back to 0. Let's see what Photoshop does. I'll check the output, Smart Filter, Personal Preference. You can choose what you want, click on OK. And let's see what the Neural Filter does on the crow now. Now let's have a look at him. He's just doing the finishing touches there. And I'll turn that layer off, or the filter off. And I think, oh, does that work for me? I'm going to actually put a levels with a clipping mask above the crow. And I'm going to grab my mid-tone slider and just give it a little nudge to the right and make it a little bit darker. Sometimes that neural filter works, and other times you've got to do what I call the workarounds. I'm going to go and turn that layer off and on, and I think, yeah, that works for me. What else can I play with? This was just having fun, putting some elements together on a background, using some different tools and techniques in my workflow. This is not a finished image by any means. It's just about going in and experimenting, playing with ideas, and going into what I call your creative toolbox and grab those tools that you can use within Photoshop that can help you put a composite image together. If you enjoy playing in Photoshop like I do, I've got more creative resources in my shop, everything from textures to on-demand classes, colour grading tools, and digital assets that you can play with. You'll find a link in the description if you feel like wandering through. It's all about having fun being creative and combining different tools and techniques to top up your creative toolkit. Thanks for watching. If you had fun, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on my weekly videos.